Hi guys, in this video I'm going to give you one good, one bad and one ugly trade that I took this week. Let's get straight into it. Hi guys, Any aka the Noctrader, your friendly neighborhood swing trader, back again with another video. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and hit that alert button to get alerts on all my latest videos. I've got Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at the Noctrader on all social media platforms. And if you check that description section below, you see a link to my mailing list and you also see a link to my Discord chat room called Pip Talks. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram. And once again, I just want to mention that I've got some new content that I've started putting out, such as little small snippets of videos on the latest stuff going on in the stock markets. So check that out. So let me get into it. So on Friday, I think it was Friday, where I told you about a trade that I was taking for ERX, which was a ETF. Now, it's a big mistake on my part taking that trade because it wasn't ready to go up. What I saw was that on the 4-hour chart, you can see that price had been going down over a long period of time. Let me actually show you the daily chart. That'll probably be better. So in the daily chart, you can see that there was almost like a descending channel and price had broken out. So I thought it was going to be at some point price was going to start shooting up, but I think I preempted the shootout too early, because when I entered, price just kept ricocheting, just going back and forth. This is like gibberish to me. There's no real pattern being formed, so there was nothing really to be able to trade there. And I lost quite a lot of money because I lost nearly £300 because I revenge traded. So I entered a long position here, around here, and everything looked good. It was going up, down, and then I entered a long position around here, and then open on the market the next day. Actually, it was Thursday. Open the market Friday. It sold off frantically. Now I only lost a small amount, but then I tried to revenge trade, and that's where the mistakes started being made. And I lost about £300 on overall on that day. I think just under 300. I think it was £280. I posted it on my Instagram what I lost anyway. But I should have let the strategy materialize for itself, because right now I'm just waiting for price to almost start making a breakout, because I think it's going to break out to the upside eventually, but I didn't let it run its course. So I want to do that and just revisit this another date when it looks like price is ready to curve up. The MACD and RSI hasn't shown any real signs yet of doing that, so I'm just going to wait. Now we're moving over to the good trade. Now the other day I took a long position on DAX, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'll go down to a shorter time frame. See, that looks kind of wild. So what I saw here, there's a lot going on right now, but what I saw here was like there was an expanding wedge forming on the DAX. So I actually thought, okay, if you know anything about expanding wedges, you know that you want to wait for it to ricochet off of either support and resistance, hit the halfway line, and then break out, and that's where you want to take a position. I made a video on that. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the top right hand corner. So what I did was that I saw this little square was like a key area of support and demand, resistance here. So there's lots of buying and selling action in this key area here. So when price went down into the middle here and then came back up, I thought, okay, the minute it retraces back to the old resistance as a support, I'll enter a long position. So I took a long position here, rode it up. I think I sold it around here for my first profit. I think I made about £190, and then I did it, and then I waited for it to sell off. So wait, let me show you. I waited for it to sell off. So then I rode it up to about here. I waited for it to sell off, and then I saw kind of like a bull flag forming on the 5-minute chart. So once it sold off and then it started breaking out again, I took another long position and I rolled it all the way up to here. Now I saw that on position here mainly because if you go back to the 1-hour chart, this was a key resistance line. As you can see here, this was a key previous resistance, so I didn't want to push my luck. I thought it might be able to break out a little bit further up, but I didn't want to push my luck, so I left it and I broke out. I sold my position here, and that was basically the perfect time to sell my position. So I made, all in all, I made about £300 that day off of 2 long positions on the DAX, and that was just through chart pattern analysis. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you is that recently, or today, this sell-off was primarily fundamentally based. So that was because overnight Trump's repealed, well, he didn't repeal, but he said that he might reinstate the tariffs with China because they weren't playing ball. And as I've said it before, it's just a game of back and forth with China and US. Every time they say something positive, it's led with something negative about the trade war a couple of days later, and the market just reacts to it. So when it's sold off, remember, you sell the news and you buy the what's the term?
A few moments later.
Anyway, it's sold off, and once the news had hit, it sold off, and then the price actually kind of came back to its previous level before, because as you said before, if the news gives you something and it is negative, it may sell off. But if this negative news hasn't really affected the market tangibly yet, then the price may retrace back to where it was before. This is not always the case, but you find this happens quite a lot when the market overreacts to some news that's hit. Now here we got Royal Mail, the UK's postal service that was privatised a couple years ago. Well, actually it wasn't privatised, it was made public a couple years ago. Now, I'm quite upset with this trade, to be honest. If you know me and if you're on Twitter, you saw that I pointed this out before the breakout. I said this has potential to break out and I'm going to take a long position. Now, I did take a long position, then I exited because I'm a bit of a wimp. So what happened was, there's a bit of news that came out today that was really vital to the direction in which this stock was going to go, and I wasn't sure of the outcome of it, so that's why I exited, because I wasn't sure of whether the industrial action that the union members of the Royal Mail were taking was going to be upheld, because they were taken to court by the Royal Mail saying that it was unjust, not unjust, but it was illegal, the way that they did the balloting for the strike. Now, if the strike was allowed to go ahead, share prices probably would have plummeted. But at 3 o'clock, news came out that the injunction was solidified. So that means that the strike wasn't going to go ahead, and markets shot up. Now, straight off of technicals alone, markets look like it was going to shoot up. But obviously, when there's a fundamental aspect into it, that can play a big part in how the stock plays out. And I wasn't comfortable entering the long position when this news hadn't come out yet. But so even though I'm upset with myself, I'm not, because there was an external factor that I couldn't really account for, and I don't like guesswork when I trade. So I just have to chalk that one up. But that would have been a nice little profit if I'd gone long on it. But I think there's still a chance to capitalize off this trade, because if it was able to retrace back down to this line, retrace back down to the old support, old resistance tomorrow, and then maybe a long position could be taken there so that it can carry on going up, and then I can have a really tight stop loss, so then the risk is very minimal. So this is a potential play for tomorrow, but we'll see how this plays out. I wouldn't want to get into this trade if there's not a clear bounce. So yeah, this one I kept short and sweet. Once again, check out my Instagram, I've got some great videos there. It's Any, aka the Noctrader, signing out.